outline the process required for the assessment. This sort of matches up with the assessment task itself. First of all, I want to remind you that you really need to have everything logged on to a Google Doc. So you really need to have a Google Doc opened with the assessment heading, because this is where you're going to have to record everything that you do. You're going to eventually need GeoGebra, but at the beginning, these are the things you have to keep in mind. So you have to create a design that has at least one example of, and the following things are part of the criteria. Must be one example of reflection. There must be at least one example of rotation. There must be at least one example of translation. And there must be at least one example of enlargement. And you must talk about degrees of symmetry, both line symmetry and rotational symmetry. And these must be all in your Google Doc. You can have in your design, you can just do tuku if you wish. You can do just kowhaiwhai if you wish. And you could do a moko design if you wish. And you could just have your whole design tuku, your whole design kowhaiwhai or moko, or a combination of any of them. So you must have at least one example of reflection, one example of rotation, one example of translation, one of enlargement. You must talk about degrees of symmetry, both reflection, and this must be all logged on a Google Doc. That's part of the assessment. So you've got your picture and your document. Then really it's up to you to design what you want. Now you can Alpha Math and Beta Math have material that explain symmetry, and you're allowed to use those. And as you'll see in Google Classroom, I've got lots of little videos, or some large videos actually, examples of how to get started and where to go. The only thing is that you must come up with your own design. So that's essentially the assessment criteria and what you have to accomplish in the next week doing this assessment.